Good morning. Welcome back to Breakfast Television 20 to 8. Thanks for starting your day with us. Best-selling author, TV host, and psychic medium John Edward joining us this morning with a look ahead to his upcoming 10-city Canadian tour, which includes a stop here in Winnipeg on October 5th. Good morning.
Good morning.
So happy to have you here. So excited to talk a little bit about this. Let's talk about, I had referred to it earlier as your gift, but you quickly corrected me that you referred to it as your ability.
I like to call it an ability because I think as soon as you call it a gift, it makes me more special than another person, and I'm not. I just have worked at this for 30 years. So I think when you look at it as being an ability, people can identify we all have abilities, but if you say it's a gift, then it makes me separate and different from other people that are watching.
Okay, fair enough. So we're going to get to that in a minute about how everybody kind of has this ability within themselves. But let's talk about yours because you were able to do a couple of different things.
I started off doing psychic readings, I say just plain psychic readings, but just, what's happening now in a client's life, what's coming up for them. And then about a year and a half, 2 years into that, I started making connections with people who've crossed over, which was the medium aspect of it, which is how people kind of came to know me. I did a show called Crossing Over for many years, and then a show called Cross Country, which dealt more with connecting with spirit. And that's what the event will be like. It's much more crossing over in nature, but I kind of bring it all together now where I talk about the world of energy, choices, using your intuition, as well as talking to grandma on the other side.
So how did you develop it? You were just young.
Yeah, I was 15. I was 15 years old. I was a sophomore in high school, and I had a reading with a psychic that told me I had this ability. And I kind of felt like she dropped all of this on me, and then off she went. And I remember calling her saying, well, can you teach me? And she said, no, you got to find your own way. And I was like, wait a minute. I feel like, she bit me on the neck and made me a vampire and then didn't teach me the rules. I was like, wait, you can't just do that.
Yeah.
But what it did is it forced me to do research and to learn about metaphysics and parapsychology and the world of intuition. And what the cool part for me was that back in 1985 when I started this, I started to learn about, some very, very famous thinkers who had a very metaphysical side, historical figures who this was part of their, so it gave it an instantaneous credibility for me. I was like, wait a minute, they were Freemasons and Freemasonry and they believed this and they believed that. It was just, so it got my attention more. And the more I learned, the more it kind of expanded.
And now you try and share that knowledge with other people, or at least make them more aware of it. So what are we all doing if we don't have the ability that you have, but it's within us?
Well, I think that what we're here to do is learn lessons, and we're here to evolve. I think our whole reason for existing is to evolve through this classroom of life, do the best we possibly can, leave people better than we find them. And I think knowledge is power. So I think if you are learning about meditation, if you're learning how to relax the physical body and open your mind, if you understand what to call things, if you allow the energy in and you kind of are aware of it without looking for it, so you're not trying to create it, you just kind of recognize like, oh, that's a Tropicana orange, like, oh, that's what that is, as opposed to looking for it, you might miss it.
Okay, so just open your mind, be a little more open.
Yes, you want to allow yourself to recognize the world of energy that you're actually existing in.
Now, does everybody have the ability to speak to people that have crossed over?
Everybody has the ability to recognize and sense the energy of folks that are in their lives, their loved ones and friends who have crossed over. I do not believe that everybody has the ability or should attempt to do it for other people. Okay. It's kind of like, you got to be really careful.
You do, and it's a very emotional time,
yes.
And there's a lot on the line there for a lot of people.
And karmically, for the person who's giving the information, if they're kind of clueless, they can be taking on a lot of negative karma, negative energy.
Fascinating. Okay, so October 5th, Victoria Inn. What can we expect? So there's going to be a lot of, you said, crossover work?
I mean, I think folks that are familiar with Crossing Over, it's how the show came about with these events. So it's basically Crossing Over live in Winnipeg. So
here, Winnipeggers that sign up, that go there, have the potential to connect with a loved one.
Or maybe you get a question asked, but hopefully I'll be leaving people better than I found them.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's great to meet you, and we look forward to having you back October 5th. John Edward here in Winnipeg. Right now, we'll check in with Jenna.